am Ariane. This is Book Zealots. Can we chat? I have a few things that I need to go over with you all. So I have a question about if you are reading a book, how much of the summary, the synopsis of the book from the publishers, either on the back, if it's a paperback, if it's a hardcover, on the inside of the dust jacket, how much of the summary of the book do you read? If you read thrillers or mystery books, do you read about the book before you decide to read it? Do you read about the book while you're reading it? Or do you read about the book after you've finished the book? And the reason why I ask this is because a booktuber that I was watching over the weekend was spoiled about the twist of a book she was currently reading. And she was very angry about it. She said that she was 50-60% into the book, so she only had 40% left of the book to finish. And I'm thinking, you haven't reached the spoiler yet. Why are you researching or reading about the book you're currently reading? And then she got mad because she was mad at the person who spoiled the book. But isn't that on her? Why was she looking up the book while she's reading it? Now, if it's just a classic or a romance or whatever, where you don't need to figure out or want to try to figure out the book, I guess look up while you're reading it. I don't know. For me, personally, I read about the first paragraph of a book. So for instance, I don't have a hardcover here. Okay, so for instance, this is a book that I want to read for December. The first paragraph is generally, I don't know if you all can see that. The first paragraph is about all I will read. I have a section up here on the shelving of mystery books. That's all I will read of a book that I know is going to be like a thriller or have some suspense into it or something where I'm going to need to figure out. I just finished a book, The Cutting Season by Attica Locke, and it has a twist in it, and I'm thinking, okay, so I was in the middle of it while I'm watching this other booktuber, and I'm thinking, okay, let's say hypothetically she read that book and mentioned who the killer was. Would I have been upset? No, because that's on me. That's on me. If I knew that she was mentioning that book, then I need to move, I need to skip ahead. Or if I find out and it's like an accident, then my thought process is, oh, no way, that's who it was? How? Wait, why? And I'm going to want to know what the reveal is, so it still wouldn't be spoiled for me. But I also want to mention that this person had said she would not purposely mention a book and compare it to another book and mention the spoiler, and yet she did that very thing in the beginning of her video. And I commented on it, and a person, one of her viewers, got mad at me for spoiling a classic. Hey, I'm only mentioning what this booktube channel person, creator already mentioned. Why is she mad at me? Why is the commenter angry at me? Okay, And my mind went all over the place. Number one, I'm thinking, if you haven't read that classic yet and you're watching this channel, chances are you probably never will. Number two, you'll probably pick up that classic and think it's just a romance novel. So the spoiler won't even matter. Okay, so that was my weekend. And it's been very interesting thought process of how do you go about getting information about a book without being spoiled, and who should be accountable for that, because as booktube channel creators and we're telling about a book, I just keep picking up the Chalkman because it's convenient, it's more convenient to grab. If you like to read mystery books, do you look up information about the book while you're in the middle of it and haven't reached the spoiler? Let's back up. Last year, I think it was last year, I read The Silent Patient. That entire book has clues throughout. There are people that didn't figure it out, and for me, I'm thinking, how did you not figure it out? It's so blatantly obvious. But apparently people like to read without using thought processes of, it's kind of like they're just along for the ride. So if people are just along for the ride, did I really spoil that classic book for that person that got all sassy with me? Seriously, SMH? And I said, seriously, SMH? All I did was repeat what the person said. Now I'm thinking, I told this to Prometheus too. I would have apologized had her attitude towards me been different. Oh my gosh, you just totally ruined that book for me. I'm so sorry. Actually, I haven't, and here's why. Because that book isn't just about X. It has a lot more going for it, which I can't tell you about because you haven't read it, and apparently you think you'll be spoiled. Or the spoiler will be spoiled, whatever. Anyway, but because she came off with such a self-righteous attitude, was it my fault that she didn't pay attention to the actual video? Okay. So let me know, because I have some books back here that I want to review. And one of them isn't even, okay, so for instance, I've got a book by Coretta Scott King. Who killed Martin Luther King Jr.? Who killed him? Well, we know who took the blame for killing him, but a small investigation was put forth and revealed some very disturbing evidence. And is that considered a spoiler? Let me know, because I'm considering, do I reveal that information in my review of the book, or do I give everything up until the very end and then mention, okay, spoiler time, if you don't want to know, sayonara. If you do want to know, hang on, and then give the information. Because even if I give that information, I would still recommend reading the book, because the book has so much depth to it. And I would say the same for a mystery book or thriller or whatever, because you want to know the reveal. You want to know the process of whatever it is in that book. It's been a very interesting week. So let me know, a plethora of things. How do you research a book? How much of the summary do you read? Because apparently publishers think their readers are stupid and have to give absolutely every little detail, which I'm wondering, they might not be wrong. I'm curious now, because a lot of people, readers, seem to read without turning on the brain, which I've heard somebody else mention, that no, we're not in an existential crisis for reading, but what has been, and apparently even in the past, is there have always been readers, there have always been people that buy books, but there are very few people that challenge themselves. And based on what I've seen on BookTube, I am prone to agree with that assessment, that opinion. It seems to be the case. But I digress, and so let me get back to it. So how much of the summary on a book do you read? Do you look up a book that you are in the middle of reading? And do you look up reviews of books that you had finished reading? And what kinds of book reviews and spoilers do you think are okay? And at how much accountability do you think that we should take for ourselves if we're spoiled by a book while looking up information on the book? I would be concerned, I think. I probably wouldn't post this or would be worried about my wording if I thought any one of those people watched my video, or Prometheus in our video. And I know Prometheus is playing with the solar panel right now. For me personally, I will get as little information about a book as possible. There are a few things obviously that I want to know, and you all probably know this by now. How much cussing does it have? Is it appropriate? Does it have sex in it, graphic, because I'm not interested? And is the writing good? Is the writing good? And I prefer mystery and thriller books that I can't figure out, but if the writing is good, so The Silent Patient, I figured it out. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I read it within 24 hours. It was entertaining for the amount of time that I read it. It kept me reading because it was interesting. Did I like everything about it? No. But let's just say hypothetically, and I think I already said this, so I'm probably rambling and repeating myself, but let's say hypothetically somebody revealed to me the twist, I still would have finished it. I still would have finished it. It wouldn't have mattered to me if it was spoiled. But that being said, if I'm reading a mystery book and I haven't gotten to the reveal yet, I'm certainly not going online and looking up information from previous readers who have reviewed it on Bookstagram or whatever to read about a book that I'm still reading. I wouldn't do that. I do like, there is one book, so Prometheus had mentioned, but what about a book that you're going to DNF or you're thinking about DNF? If that's spoiled, then it doesn't even matter to begin with, right? So I'm not scared. I looked up reviews on Goodreads to find out what the spoilers were to determine whether or not I wanted to continue reading. Now, if I did decide to continue reading it and I felt, oh, it was spoiled for me because I looked up these reviews, that's on me. That's my fault. But I'm glad I looked it up because it determined, yes, this is not a book you're going to enjoy, DNF it. Unhaul it, get rid of it. So when I'm done with a book, I enjoy looking up reviews about a book to see other people's thought processes or to see if they have the same questions that I have about a book. For instance, the book I just finished, The Cutting Season, I have a few questions that I don't think were answered. And the reason for the murder was kind of flimsy. So I'm just like, that's another video. Anyways, if you've stuck around this long for my very first chat with me video, thank you. And please leave a comment below and let me know what you all think about these situations. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.